Plaintiff Tracy Fidelman says she and the defendant were friends, and they went on one date. But the date ended with the defendant serenading Tracy and then passing out. Tracy claims she and the defendant remain friends, but she's suing her today for a loan and harassment. Defendant Katie Ann Kibbe says the one date she and Tracy went on was the worst date of her life because Tracy is boring and basic. Katie Ann admits that she got money from Tracy, but insists she never agreed to repay her.
Start with you.
Well, I met Kate about 8 years ago. We were both volunteering in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, and we hit it off right away. We went on a date, and it was really fun until she got really drunk and decided it would be a good idea to sing "I Will Always Love You" in front of me on her knees and then pass out in front of me.
Plaintiff Tracy Fidelman says she and the defendant went on one date, and the defendant claims it was the worst date of her life because Tracy is boring and basic.
Where were you when she did this?
I was right in front of her for that.
Yeah, what location? Outside?
We were in a bar. We were in a karaoke bar.
All right.
Yeah.
And people were around?
Oh, yeah. There's people around for
and
that.
Then she passed out?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Just a disco.
And who, did you wake her up? How did she?
I helped her get a cab home. Yeah. But after that, I decided we should stay platonic. But we've been acquaintances since then. She engages in a lot of risque behavior. She had a catering gig a few years after that, and she asked me, because we were still acquainted, if I wanted to work at it, and she didn't tell me until the moment it was to begin that it was a topless catering gig. So, she doesn't have a lot of respect for boundaries per se, or consider other people's limitations, but it did pay really well, so what can I say?
So you did it.
I'm a respectable lady, but so
You gotta make a living, that's right.
And we're all doing that.
Let me hear from you, give me some background.
Well, I am the champion ladies New Orleans arm wrestler. With my title as champion, it has allowed me to work with various organizations and charities. I actually met Tracy working for a charity in 2005 after Katrina, doing some relief work. As you heard from Tracy, we went on a date. And, Your Honor, it was the worst date of my life.
How so?
If I may be so rude. They're one of the most basic and boring people I've ever met in my life.
You know what? Not boring.
But yeah.
You weren't saying that when you got down on your knees singing.
Yeah, you seemed to like me then.
Why was she boring?
I was just a person who lacks character and personality. That's all.
All right, tell me why you're suing her.
I'm suing her because last year on September 15th, 2013, my friend Esther and I were both at a bar that us and all of our friends and Kate often and her friends frequent. I was sober. I don't drink very much. Kate was a little drunk, but lucid. And she came up to me and she told me that she wanted to buy an empty lot on the city auction website for $500, which is not a lot of money for a large city lot. But she didn't have enough money to buy it, and she was looking for someone to loan her money to buy it. And I really wanted to garden at my house, but I didn't have any yard or anything. So I told her, and Esther was there for this, that I would loan her $500 if I could garden there in perpetuity. And
When was she to repay?
She was to repay within 3 months.
All right, and hasn't paid, obviously. Now, what about the other 300?
The 300 is for harassment.
How so?
Well, after I loaned her the money and she agreed to repay, she became increasingly hostile. And when I tried to call, she wouldn't pick up the phone. And in November, I saw her at the bar again. And I asked her about it. I said, "Did you ever buy that lot?" And she said that, first of all, that she never bought it. And secondly, that she had spent the money and wasn't planning on paying me back. And she was there with some of her friends, and they basically said that they would make my life hell if I tried to pursue it.
To friends?
Yeah.
What did she say?
She just said she wasn't planning on repaying it and seemed to agree that my life would become hell. And
she seemed to agree.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means that like since then, basically, her and her friends have like continued to harass me with like continuing intensity.
Plaintiff Tracy Fidelman says she and the defendant went on one date, and the defendant claims it was the worst date of her life because Tracy is boring and basic.
You're not saying a thing. What
I'm
has
sorry,
she
Nate,
done
like,
to
I go
you?
out, I
What has
can't go
she
out.
done to you?
She and her friends, whenever I go out, like harass me, call me names, like
Give me some specific examples or instances.
like I went to this bar that we all go to like last December and they like
She
was there.
What did she do? That's all right.
and-
Ma'am, what do you say about the loan?
Well, to be clear, Your Honor, I'd like to take a step back to the initial interaction in which there was money exchanged. Mrs. Feldman claims that she was sober. This is not the case. She was absolutely wasted. And, you know, I gotta say I was a little tipsy myself. And I'd been talking with some friends that were at our table, and I'd mentioned that I wanted to participate in this auction, and that there was a lot that I was interested in, and I needed $500 for it. Mrs. Feldman made it very clear that they would be interested in giving me the money. We never discussed at that time that it was a loan. She called me the next day, hungover, and was like, "Kate, I made a grave mistake." And I was like, "Too bad, it's already done."
She said I made a
it's
grave
ludicrous.
mistake by
It's ludicrous. And then-
loaning or giving you the money. Is that what she was referring?
Correct, and it's the thing that blows my mind is that Tracy is here today saying that I harass her. You cannot harass someone that you actively stalk. If I go out with some friends somewhere, Tracy will be there, sort of lurking and doing whatever it is that they do.
And that's when your friends call her the names that she's referring to.
Yeah, like a bugaboo.
Because you hadn't described what you've done. She keeps saying what your friends do. All right, ma'am, basically you're saying it was a gift. That's your
Correct.
defense. You have any evidence that it was a loan?
My friend was standing right there.
All right, ma'am, you want to come up. State
sir.
your name.
My name is Esther Martin.
You were standing there. What did you hear?
I can vouch that my friend Tracy said this about the gardening, like, I will loan you, Kate, this $500 with the understanding that I am going to be repaid within 3 months and that I can garden on the lot you're going to buy with that money.
You never heard any of that, you say?
Yeah, really.
Didn't hear it.
$500
Yeah, really.
for the
Why
plaintiff.
would I-
She has a witness. Have a good day, ladies.
I have to leave town. She's made my life hell.
She, in effect, I'm losing one of my best friends because of what she's done.
Thanks a lot, Kate.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Why don't you go back and live with your parents in Massachusetts?
Oh, whatever.
And live your collegiate lifestyle.
Got a legal question? Go to AskJudgeMathis.com for the answer.